Here's a very disgusting question for you, though.
God.
See if you had a water Pokemon. Let's say, hypothetically, you were in the desert, okay? Let's say you're in the Ori region, right?
God.
And Pokemon Colosseum, where you're in like this desert, okay? There's only
Right.
one city, or maybe two, that have a water source, okay? The rest of them, it's pretty slim pickings, right? What if you had a water Pokemon with you? What if we chose Squirtle and we felt thirsty? Could we get it to vomit in a cup? Is that viable, or would we just be drinking his...
The questions that we've asked each other tonight are...
You wouldn't want to, but in desperate times, this is like the 127 hours later version of Pokemon.
How did we end up here from where we went from milk, we've ended up in the desert? Right. Also, where have we got a cup from? Why did we carry a cup with us, but nothing in the liquid in the cup?
Okay, let's say it's like a crevice in the back of our damaged Metapod, okay?
Oh, okay, right, okay. More horrifying, but also more believable. I think, but right, surely we'll have taught him some attacks.
Yeah, like water gun. But it's like, it's coming out of his mouth, though. Like, oh, thanks for this refreshing drink of Squirtle juice.
I'm going to be honest with you here. We're stuck in the desert, right? Okay. It's either we drink Squirtle's mouthwater or else we're drinking each other's pee. Like, there's literally the only options we have here, right?
I'm sorry, why each other's pee?
What, you want to drink? Oh, wait, you want to, or drink your own pee then? Fair enough.
I wouldn't want to drink either.
Oh, it might be not good enough to drink it. So, well, that's quite insulting too.
I would have liked to have been consulted before I was like, oh yeah. Imagine we're dehydrated in the desert and you just turn around with a random cup, like, here you go, drink my piss. Like, excuse me? The town's over there. You're like, there's no time. Drink my piss.
Right, so are you gonna drink your own piss, or are you gonna drink Squirtle?
I think I'm gonna...
Are you gonna stand in front of Squirtle while I say use water cannon in your mouth up?
Oh my god, imagine if it evolved into Blastoise.
Oh, we'd be dead. Can Pokemon attacks hurt humans?
Yes, but more in a comical way. Well, it depends. If you're going by game logic, yes, they can. That's why you black out. And I know Legends Arceus, which is obviously set in the past, Pokemon do attack you.
Okay, yeah.
And in the manga, it's infinitely worse because they can literally kill you.
Oh, Jesus.
The less said about that, the better. There was a funny thing I was reading where, apparently in the manga, there's like a scene where one of the dads of the protagonists in Ruby and Sapphire tries to control Rayquaza, which is like, you know, the big green serpent that flies around in the sky. Apparently, there's a scene in that, although he comes back to life, there's a scene where like he gets so injured trying to bring this creature down that he dies. And the funniest thing as well is 2 seconds later, Team Magma and Aqua, I think, kick down the door, and Team Magma burn his body to make sure he can't do anything with it.
Wow.
I know, right?
Can we go back to talking about drinking squirrels? Oh, it's so much messed up stuff in this universe.
Okay, let's say we get out the desert, okay?
We drank from the water gun.
We chose the bad ending, okay?
We only lost half our health.
I love how, like, we were getting badges, and then 2 seconds later we ended up in the desert. We're just like, well, this isn't Albuquerque. But here's a question for you. What would you say if I said to you these 2 words? Pokemon, multiverse. I'm not even joking, by the way.
I would say, go on.
So, the Pokemon multiverse is a very real thing. I don't actually remember when it was established. I think kind of loosely and informally it was established when, you know, you have red version and blue version and it's supposed to be like 2 separate worlds. Which you think, okay, that's fair enough. You know, everyone goes on their own journey and everything. That's fair enough. But around the time of the 3DS era, when we were getting X and Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, you know, those games, by the time we actually got to those games, they started introducing a lot of wacky things. This is when, like, the big super weapon and genocide baiting started.
Oh, this is where they went for it, is it?
Yeah, this is the only thing I can think of, because there's an extra story you can play at the very end of the game. Once you complete it in Alpha, Sapphire and Omega Ruby, after you do that, it's like a new story made specifically for that game, and you bump into this girl called, I think it's Zinnia or something, who's like obsessed with getting Rayquaza, you know, the sky dragon that got someone's dad burnt. and she's obsessed with getting it, and you realise that there's a meteor heading for Earth. So apparently this meteor is going to destroy all life on the planet. Now the champion, keep in mind this is a champion of this region, probably the person with some of the most authority, well, ex-champion technically because you met him, but you know what I mean, a champion of the region with authority. He goes into this laboratory and he suggests that they open a wormhole to send the meteor to another dimension, which is like heavily implied that this other dimension is like Generation 1 and 2, you know, the games that you couldn't connect to the other games.
That is one way to rewrite your canon, bloody hell.
Yeah, so it's like...
Terminator films didn't do that.
Well, they don't do it in the end, they close the portal.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But it's just the implication of that, though, that he was willing to commit genocide. It's like, what? I mean, I know Pokemon games are dark, but they just get silly levels of dark. I mean, as I said, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, you've got implications of, like, child abuse for characters, implications of mental abuse and things. It gets crazy, not to mention, of course, the car crash Machamp, which we already established. The fact he was going to say, oh yeah, let's just sacrifice another world for ours, for the greater good. And it's like, no.
What a horrible idea.
A couple of minutes ago, I was like riding a bike going do 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 do, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, oh, by the way, you're about to die. And I was like, what? So of course, the way they resolve that is you take control of Rayquaza and you burst open the meteor, and what's inside the meteor but an alien? I wish I was kidding. No, this is legit. Wow. It is actually an alien Pokemon.
Just when I thought I was getting the hang of this universe, and I'm like, right, I'm coming to grips with it now. I know how to go get myself a pint of milk and everything. You bring in some goddamn aliens.
No, really. So there are these aliens introduced in Generation 3 called Deoxys, I think. And they've got different forms and things, and they're weird. I don't know where they're from. I know they're supposed to be that kind of idea of, oh, they're mystical, because there's other alien Pokemon that exist in the games. But on top of that, we also have another subset called Ultra Beasts, which the only reason I bring them up to the forefront just now is right now, as we record this episode, Pokemon Go is having a special event right now where you can catch Ultra Beasts and things like that, and essentially they are separate creatures from Pokemon. They're like a kind of subset of Pokemon that live in their own dimensions, and some of these things are just nightmare fuel. They made these videos of these creatures coming into our like world, and there's like ones that are like as tall as skyscrapers. There's one that's like literally a mosquito with muscles. That's all I can describe it as. He's called Buzzswole.
A mosquito with muscles.
You've got that. You've got a jellyfish that can attach itself to people like a parasite and basically take over their mind. You've got one that looks like an origami figure, but it's like a katana, or it chops things up like a katana. You've got one called, I think it's Guzzlord, which is like a massive, never-ending eating machine. You've got this like dark version, which I have to admit, I didn't play these games, but it's like an Ultra Sun and Moon, where it purposely latches on to the legendaries to create like this really horrible twisted abomination.
Oh, this is fun. You've also got one that looks like a clown wearing like a Daft Punk helmet.
Oh yeah.
Blacephalon.
Do you see what I mean about the Ultra Beast though?
Yeah, these ones are I really don't want to meet any of these.
These honestly look like something out of like a Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Oh my god, they actually do as well. Does that mean as well there's like the Pokemon equivalent of Area 51?
I wouldn't be surprised. Would it be Lieutenant Surge that was like in charge of it?
That's where he was at. The war against the Ultra Beasts.
But I mean, these Pokemon are so powerful that they can actually, and I'm going to send you a very lovely picture, and I hope you can get to sleep after this.
I mean, sleep is not going to come visit me tonight, so send away.
Well, here is a picture of it's a Buzzswole, and it is sucking the life juice out of Snorlax.
Oh my... Oh no!
That's actually an episode of the anime, yeah.
Why? Like a deflated balloon.
Apparently the Snorlax is fine because anime logic, but...
I refuse to look at that imagery again, I'll be honest. I threw my phone across the room after seeing that.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a particular episode in the anime where they're hunting down Ultra Beasts and a Buzzswole comes through and it starts like attacking different creatures, and it ends up it comes face to face with a Snorlax and it literally dives its beak in. And if anybody's seen Dragon Ball Z, it's very similar to the way Cell absorbs people. where it's like this big insect monster that like sticks his tail in and he sucks out like everything inside. Oh, it's horrible. It's nightmare fuel. But they decided to make that a Pokemon. So not only do we have to worry about the Beedrills, we've got to worry about like their jacked up cousins coming out of a wormhole.
The Beedrills don't seem so bad now, to be perfectly honest, after like the thought of like having to deal with organised crime. This goddamn Buzzwole. I miss the Beedrills now. I miss the Beedrills in my dry Machamp flakes.
Well, we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
I didn't know how good I had it.
We're nearly there. We've got our Metapod, and I don't know if Bulbasaur's still with us, is he?
Oh, I hope for a sec he's not.
Where are we going next, Adam? Where's our final destination?
Right, so we crossed the desert, right, okay. We crossed the desert. We visited Area 51 and met the Ultra Beasts. Are we still in Kanto, are we?
Well, technically the desert region is probably somewhere far, far to the east or west.
Right, okay, we're a different region now. Okay, right. What can we even do? What can we do? We must have made some money along.
Well, the stolen money that's stashed in the Metapod.
Can we sell our stories? Is there like newspapers in here?
I think so, yeah.
Can we sell our adventure story to a newspaper? We can talk about how... Well, you can talk about how you drank your own pee. And I can talk about how, like, I drank Squirtle's...
Squirtle juice, yeah.
Oh! That's literally going to be the headline right there. Peter will come up and throw more red paint on me for that.